Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Muslim Playlist channel.
Walaikum assalam.
For those of you joining us for the first time,
Welcome.
we do these deep dives into all sorts of fascinating topics.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in exploring more about Islam and Muslim history and culture and all that good stuff,
Hit that subscribe button.
definitely hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified about all our future deep dives.
We got some great stuff coming up.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're going back in time.
Yeah, we're going way back.
We are time traveling.
We are going to be journeying through Islamic history.
It's a long history.
It is a long history.
So much to uncover.
So much to uncover.
And so much that most people just don't know about.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Right.
We're calling this Lost Islamic History
Ooh.
I like that.
because there are so many hidden gems,
Mm-hmm.
so many stories that have been overlooked.
Or even deliberately erased sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot to unpack there. There is a lot to unpack.
But let's start at the beginning.
Okay, let's go back to the very beginning.
Pre-Islamic Arabia.
Now, when we hear pre-Islamic Arabia, what often comes to mind?
You know, deserts.
Deserts,
Desert.
camels,
Go ahead.
nomads wandering around,
Right, this image of kind of like a vast empty space.
isolated.
Isolated, cut off from the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's the common perception.
But is that really accurate?
Not quite.
Not quite.
I mean, geographically speaking,
Yeah.
the Arabian Peninsula was anything but isolated.
Right, if you look at a map,
Mm-hmm.
it's right in the middle of everything.
It's a crossroads
A crossroads.
connecting Asia, Africa, Europe.
So it was strategically important.
Hugely.
So even in pre-Islamic times,
Mm,
there was this constant flow of people and goods and ideas.
exactly. Think about the trade routes.
A Silk Road,
The incense route.
all passing through Arabia.
Arabia was this bustling hub of commerce and cultural exchange.
So it wasn't this isolated backwater.
Not at all. It was connected to the major empires of the time,
The Romans,
the Persians.
the Byzantines,
So there was this constant interaction,
this mixing of ideas and cultures.
which must have had a huge impact on Arabian society.
Absolutely.
What about the people themselves?
The Arabs?
Yeah, were they all nomads? Were they all just wandering the desert?
Well, the term Arab itself
Okay,
might actually mean wandering or nomadic.
interesting.
So there's definitely a connection to that lifestyle.
Right.
But not all Arabs were nomads.
Okay.
There were also settled communities,
Mm-hmm.
cities and towns,
Like Mecca,
like Mecca,
which was a major trading center
a hub of activity,
and a place of pilgrimage.
even before Islam,
Right, the Kaaba was already there.
attracting people from all over Arabia.
So even in this pre-Islamic period,
Mhm.
there was this sense of shared identity,
A shared culture.
a shared history.
And one of the most striking aspects of that culture
Tell me about it.
was the emphasis on hospitality.
Hospitality.
Even before Islam, Arabs were known for their generosity,
Really?
their willingness to welcome strangers.
Interesting.
It was a matter of honor
Good.
to protect and provide for guests.
So how did this hospitality manifest?
Well, imagine this.
Okay.
A traveler arrives at your doorstep,
Mhm.
a complete stranger,
Okay.
and you are obligated to offer them protection and shelter,
No matter who they are.
no questions asked,
For how long?
for 3 days.
3 days.
3 days of safety and hospitality.
Wow, that's incredible.
That was the custom.
Imagine that in today's world.
It's a powerful example
It is.
of the values that were important in pre-Islamic Arabia.
Community.
In honor.
But of course, everything changed.
It did.
With the arrival of a new faith.
A new prophet.
A new message that would reshape the world.
Islam. The story of Prophet Muhammad is truly remarkable.
One man
Yeah.
changed the course of history.
How did this new religion, born in the heart of the Arabian desert, go on to become a global force? In just a few decades.
It's a question that continues to fascinate historians.
And it's not just the speed of its spread,
It's the impact.
the profound impact.
Islam transformed not only the religious landscape, but also the political
The intellectual life.
of vast regions.
So to understand this transformation,
We have to go back to the beginning,
to the roots of Islam,
to the Prophet's early life,
his first revelations in the cave of Hira,
the persecution faced by early Muslims,
all these pieces are crucial to understanding the rise of Islam,
especially the Hijra.
the migration from Mecca to Medina.
Now, that wasn't just a change of scenery.
It was a turning point
A strategic move.
that allowed the first Muslim community to flourish.
It laid the groundwork.
For the expansion that followed
The Hijra represents both the resilience of the early Muslims,
and the power of their belief.
and from there,
The expansion of the Muslim world was breathtaking.
in just a century,
The Islamic Empire stretched from the Arabian Peninsula.
across North Africa, even parts of Europe.
It's a testament to the power of their faith
Their military prowess.
and the appeal of Islam's message.
To diverse populations, there's always a but.
As the empire grew, it also had to grapple with internal conflicts,
Power struggles.
different visions for the future,
We often forget that Islamic history
like any history,
is complex.
filled with competing perspectives,
Different interpretations.
different approaches to leadership.
And sometimes,
Those differences led to conflict,
like at the Battle of Karbala,
a tragic event
that had a profound impact.
on Islamic history,
This battle
where the Prophet's grandson Hussein was killed
marked a turning point.
in the development of Shia Islam.
It's a reminder that even within a shared faith,
There can be deep divisions,
and that those divisions.
can have lasting consequences.
So we're seeing a story unfold here, a story of faith and internal struggle.
But amidst these complexities,
There were also periods of remarkable achievement.
the Islamic Golden Age.
Oh, yes.
Now that was a time of incredible flourishing.
When I think of the Islamic Golden Age,
Tell me.
I think of Baghdad,
Yeah.
Cordova,
Cairo.
these vibrant centers of learning
Bustling with scholars and intellectuals.
from all over the world.
It was a time of intense intellectual curiosity.
A thirst for knowledge.
And it wasn't just theoretical.
No.
These advancements had a real impact on the world. Think about Al-Khwarizmi.
The father Altra,
He introduced the Indian numeral system to the West.
including the concept of zero.
Can you imagine math without zero?
It's mind-boggling.
His work revolutionized mathematics.
And then there's Omar Khayyam,
A brilliant
Oh,
polymath.
astronomer.
Astronomer.
Yeah.
He made groundbreaking contributions to algebra and geometry.
But he's also known for his beautiful poetry.
Exploring the big questions of life.
And Ibn Sina,
The great physician.
his medical encyclopedia,
The canon of medicine.
was a cornerstone of medical education in Europe for centuries.
His work emphasized observation
Experimentation.
and a holistic understanding of the body.
These figures were centuries ahead of their time,
They pushed the boundaries of knowledge,
and their innovations
laid the foundation for many of the scientific advancements.
we benefit from today
The Islamic Golden Age was a testament to the intellectual dynamism.
of this civilization.
But let's move on to another fascinating chapter.
Yes.
Al-Andalus.
A unique blend of cultures.
A testament to the fact that Islam's interactions with other cultures.
Weren't always about conflict.
Al-Andalus wasn't just a conquered territory.
It became a vibrant center of learning,
Ner-
architecture.
and scholarship.
Christians
And Jews.
lived and worked together.
Contributing to a remarkable period of cultural flourishing.
Did you know that even the Pope at the time had studied in Al-Andalus?
It's true.
It shows how knowledge transcended religious boundaries.
Al-Andalus was a beacon of enlightenment.
At a time when much of Europe was in the so-called Dark Ages,
Its libraries,
its universities
architectural marvels like the Alhambra.
all stand as testaments to this incredible period.
But like all golden ages,
It eventually faded.
the Reconquista
The expulsion of Muslims from Spain
marked a tragic end.
to this vibrant chapter in Islamic history.
But as one chapter closed,
Another was
it felt
opening,
the East,
the rise of a new power.
the Ottoman Empire,
This vast empire.
stretching across 3 continents.
It would leave an undeniable mark on the world.
And that's where we'll pick up next time,
So join us as we continue our journey.
through the fascinating world of Islamic history.
We've got a lot more to explore.
We do.
So we've gone from the sands of Arabia to the vibrant streets of Al-Andalus.
An incredible journey.
It is.
But our exploration of Islamic history doesn't stop there.
It doesn't.
Not even close.
Because while empires were rising and falling in those traditional centers of Islamic civilization,
Islam was quietly taking root
quietly taking root
in other parts of the world,
in far-flung corners of the globe,
adapting to different cultures.
leaving its own unique mark.
It's a story that often gets overlooked.
Yeah, it's like we tend to focus on the big empires,
The grand narratives,
but Islam's reach was far wider.
much more diverse.
So where should we go next on this global tour?
How about Africa?
Africa,
A continent with a long and rich Islamic history.
a history that often gets simplified or even ignored.
Exactly.
And it's a history that challenges some common misconceptions.
Like the idea that Islam spread solely through conquest.
Right. We often hear about the Islamic conquest.
But in Africa,
yeah.
trade played a crucial role,
Trade routes crisscrossing the continent,
connecting people and ideas.
spreading Islam peacefully.
Few merchants and travelers.
And one of the most fascinating figures in this story,
Oh, I know who you're going to mention.
Mansa Musa,
The legendary ruler of Mali
his pilgrimage to Mecca
in the 14th century.
was an epic journey.
An incredible display of wealth and piety.
I mean, just imagine.
A caravan stretching for miles.
Thousands of people.
Tons of gold.
And Mansa Musa himself,
A devout Muslim.
making his way to the holiest city in Islam.
It was a journey that captured the imagination of the world.
And it had a profound impact
On
in
Mali,
its connections to the wider Muslim world.
Mansa Musa brought back scholars,
Architects.
artists,
He established mosques.
libraries.
Sounds like
Mali became a center of Islamic learning.
a beacon of knowledge and culture,
It's incredible to think about this powerful African empire.
thriving at a time when Europe was still struggling.
It really challenges that Eurocentric view of history.
Often portrays Africa as being backward or underdeveloped,
But Mali was a sophisticated society,
with a rich intellectual tradition.
deeply rooted in Islamic values.
And Mali wasn't alone.
No Islam spread across vast swaths of Africa,
From the savannas of the West,
to the bustling ports of the East,
the Swahili coast,
a fascinating blend of cultures,
African Persia,
all interwoven with Islamic traditions. The Swahili coast was a hub of trade and cultural exchange.
Remember Ibn Battuta?
Oh, yes, the famous traveler.
He visited the Swahili coast during his epic journey.
And he was amazed by what he saw.
The vibrant cities,
The beautiful mosques.
the strong Islamic scholarship.
It was a truly cosmopolitan culture.
And then there's Timbuktu.
Ah, yes, the legendary city of gold.
Ibn Battuta was equally impressed by Timbuktu,
He found a thriving intellectual center.
with a long tradition of Islamic scholarship,
Timbuktu was a major stop on the trans-Saharan trade routes.
connecting North Africa and West Africa.
And those trade routes weren't just about goods and spices,
They were also about the exchange of knowledge,
ideas.
religious practices,
These were the highways of intellectual and cultural exchange,
and Islam flowed along these highways.
transforming societies along the way.
So we're seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
Trade,
Migration
the exchange of ideas
all play a crucial role.
in the spread of Islam.
It wasn't just about conquest.
It was about people embracing a faith
That resonated with them.
and finding ways to integrate it into their own cultural contexts.
Islam's adaptability is one of its key strengths.
Its ability to take root in different environments
To blend with local traditions.
while still maintaining its core principles.
It's a remarkable story.
And it's a story that continues to unfold today.
So let's move on to another fascinating chapter.
Yes,
China.
China.
Now that might seem like an unexpected destination.
It does this.
For Islam.
Right. We often think of China as having its own distinct culture and history.
Very much so.
But Islam has a long history in China.
A history that dates back to the 7th century.
The Tang Dynasty.
Islam arrived through trade routes.
Just like in Africa,
Muslim merchants traveled along the Silk Road,
bringing their faith and culture with them.
and they established communities.
In Chinese cities,
And over time,
Islam became an integral part.
of Chinese society.
It's fascinating how Muslim merchants and scholars integrated into Chinese society.
Some even served in government and military roles.
That's amazing.
It shows a degree of tolerance and pragmatism.
On both sides.
It's a testament to the power of cultural exchange,
and to the ability of people from different backgrounds.
to find common ground.
And speaking of cultural exchange,
Mm-hmm.
we can't forget Zhang.
A famous Chinese Muslim admiral
His voyages across the Indian
in
Ocean
the 15th century.
were truly epic.
He commanded a massive fleet,
Hundreds of ships.
tens of thousands of crew members.
He traveled to Southeast Asia,
India,
the Middle East.
even Africa,
His voyages were remarkable, not only for their scale.
but also for their peaceful nature.
He wasn't out to conquer or colonize.
He was focused on trade
Diplomacy.
and cultural exchange.
Zhang. His voyages were a testament to the cosmopolitan nature.
And the Ming Dynasty.
A time when China was open to the world.
And a time when a Muslim admiral
Could lead a fleet of ships.
to distant lands.
It's a reminder that history is full of surprises.
And that the world has always been interconnected.
More than we often realize.
So we've seen how Islam spread to Africa
And China.
through trade and cultural exchange.
Adapting to different environments. But our journey isn't over yet.
No, we
Yeah.
still have one more major destination.
India,
A subcontinent with a rich and complex Islamic history,
a history that has shaped its culture
politics,
and religious landscape.
for over 1,000 years.
So buckle up.
As we delve into the fascinating world,
Of Islam in India. We've journeyed from the deserts of Arabia to the bustling ports of the Swahili coast, from the heart of China to the vibrant tapestry of India.
and along the way, we've witnessed the remarkable expansion of Islamic civilization,
Its adaptability, its intellectual vibrancy.
the interplay of faith and culture.
But as we reach the dawn of the modern era,
We encounter a new chapter
a chapter marked by profound challenges,
and transformative shifts.
the era of European colonialism,
It's a period that casts a long shadow
not just on the Muslim world, but on the entire global order.
because it wasn't just about territorial conquest.
It was about a clash of worldviews, the imposition of new systems
Economic structures.
that fundamentally reshaped the Muslim world.
It's like the rules of the game suddenly changed.
Centuries-old empires
Traditions.
were being challenged by these new forces from the West.
So how did the Muslim world respond to this unprecedented pressure?
Well, there wasn't a single unified response,
Right. It was a diverse and complex landscape.
with a range of reactions
From embracing elements of modernity,
to staunch resistance
some saw opportunity,
in adopting certain Western ideas,
hoping to revitalize their societies,
while others saw it as a threat.
to their faith and cultural identity.
It was a period of intense debate
Internal struggle
and soul-searching within the Muslim world.
as they tried to navigate this rapidly changing landscape.
Let's take the Ottoman Empire, for example.
Okay. The once mighty Ottoman Empire.
By the late 19th century.
It was facing serious challenges.
Internal strife,
External pressures.
economic decline,
They attempted a series of reforms.
known as the Tanzimat, to try to modernize their institutions,
Their legal system.
their military,
They looked to the West for models
trying to catch up,
to prove that they could be modern.
while still maintaining their Islamic identity.
But it was a delicate balancing act.
And it wasn't entirely successful.
The reforms faced resistance,
From both traditionalists who saw them as a betrayal of Islamic values.
and from those who felt they didn't go far enough,
It was a period of intense internal conflict.
which further weakened the empire.
And then came World War I.
A global conflict that would have a devastating impact.
On the Ottoman Empire,
It marked the end of an era
the collapse of the empire.
and the redrawing of the map of the Middle East.
The aftermath of the war was chaotic,
Colonial powers carved up former Ottoman territories,
creating new states with arbitrary borders.
often ignoring existing ethnic and religious realities.
This laid the groundwork for many of the conflicts and tensions we see in the region today. It's a reminder that the decisions made by those in power
Often far removed from the people they govern.
can have repercussions for generations to come. And the rise of nation-states
Often built around secular ideologies.
pose a fundamental challenge.
To traditional Islamic notions of governance and community.
It was a new world order.
One that many Muslims struggle to reconcile with their faith.
So how did they respond?
Well, in the midst of this upheaval,
We saw the emergence of new movements,
new ideas.
new ways of thinking about Islam's role in the modern world,
Some sought to revive Islamic principles.
as a way to navigate the challenges of modernity,
Others embraced more radical solutions,
like the idea of establishing Islamic states.
governed strictly by Islamic law.
It was a period of both hope and disillusionment.
As Muslims grappled with the realities of a changing world,
It's a complex and nuanced story.
one that defies easy categorization or simplistic narratives.
So as we conclude our deep dive into lost Islamic history
I hope we've left you with a sense of wonder.
and a thirst for further exploration,
Because this is just the beginning
we've only scratched the surface.
of this vast and fascinating subject.
We've witnessed the rise and fall of empires,
The spread of ideas across continents,
the flourishing of knowledge and culture,
and the enduring legacy.
of Islamic civilization,
It's a story that continues to unfold today.
shaping our world in countless ways
And it's a story that deserves to be told
and understood.
in all its complexity and richness.
So thank you for joining us on this incredible journey
We hope you'll continue to explore the world of Islamic history
and to discover the hidden gems.
that await you.
Until next time.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.